Hi guys, Jess here. I am starting something new this week. On Fridays or roundabout there, I'm going to start doing a weekly recap of what I've been up to for the last week. This is in part to keep you guys informed on the little things that I may not get a chance to mention in the vlogs that have another focus, like the ones that I go to LARPs with, or the ones where I'm going to conventions or that sort of thing. And it's also it's also to keep me on track. I have a bunch of different projects that I'm working on right now, different endeavors, and this is kind of a way of reminding myself that I am making progress on them, because goodness knows we all need that. So I'm gonna check my notes every once in a while. I'm not trying to be rude and look away from y'all, but I got a bunch of stuff and I don't want to forget anything. So this is Friday oh my goodness, I really should have checked that before I started this. It's Friday the 25th of January. And last Friday, I came back from the Greyhaven Writers Retreat, which was amazing. I have spent part of the time this week working on editing the vlog entries that I did from the Writers Retreat. I think it's going to work out to a 4-part series on it, and those are going to start releasing as of this Sunday, and they'll release every Sunday for the next month or so. The first one is kind of my trip out there and talking a little bit about why Writers Retreats are important, what I go to Greyhaven for, my plans for the retreat this year. The second episode, so that one is going to release this Sunday, which will be the 27th. Then the next Sunday, I'll be releasing the one where I did an interview and a chat with Keith Baker, who you may recognize. He was the creator of Eberron, which is one of D&D's most popular settings. He also created the card game Gloom, and most recently he did this amazing game that I got a chance to play at the Writers Retreat called Illimat, that is a board game that was inspired by Decemberists, which is a musical group, the Decemberists. They did a video a while back, and they shot it, rather than just playing a bunch of people playing musicians for the video. They shot it kind of in an old-timey feel, vintage feel, and they showed these people playing this really mysterious kind of secret society kind of board game, and then promptly chucked the prop for it in the closet for a couple years. And then later, once they got started, the band members actually got started playing more board games. They thought this would be really cool to actually make a board game from it. So they tagged Keith, and he's created this amazing game. It's beautiful. It's fun to play. I'm really looking forward to picking up a copy after I got a chance to play it out at Greyhaven. So the interview that I do with him will be on releasing on Super Bowl Sunday on February 3rd. Also, we've got some fun things. Last year for Super Bowl Sunday, we had a little Super Bowl party here at the house, and invited people mostly for the food and the commercials, but we do have a couple football fans in the house. Last year, after the football game, we got cans of all of the new Diet Coke flavors that had came out. They've got like zesty blood orange, and they've got a ginger one, and that sort of thing. And we did, after the game, we got together and we got sample cups, and we all tasted the different flavors and took turns and recorded our reactions and that sort of thing. I'll post that. If I can find that link, one of my friends recorded it. If I can find that link, I'll go ahead and post a link to it down below in the comments. This year, what we're going to do is, I am fascinated by all of the weird flavors of Oreos that are out there, and so I'm collecting up packages of the weirdest Oreo flavors that I can find. I may have missed some of the holiday flavors that came out in the last year. I really am fascinated by the Swedish fish flavor. That one sounds really interesting, and I'm hoping to be able to find it. But I've got a bunch of different flavors, and we're going to do some sampling after, and I'm going to try and record it all and pop that up as a video sometime the week after Super Bowl Sunday. But also on the 10th, so the Sunday after that, I'll be posting the Greyhaven vlog video featuring my chats with Crystal Fraser and Aaron M. Evans. You may recognize their names from some of your favorite role-playing related products. Crystal did a comic for Pathfinder called, I want to make sure I get the name right, Spiral of Bones, and it's been released in comic format. It's coming out next month in graphic novel format. I've actually got it on pre-order from Barnes & Noble. I'm really looking forward to seeing it. And Aaron is the author of the Brimstone Angel series, which is got a lot of tiefling and dragonborn culture in it, and I haven't read it yet, but I'm really looking forward to it. I talked with both of the girls about their products that they were working on at the retreat and why they came out to the retreat. Aaron's been at the retreat several times with us before, but it was Crystal's first year, so that was really cool. So the conversation that I had with them, that vlog post will drop on the 10th of February. And then on the 17th of February, I'll be dropping the last of that 4-part series. And that is going to feature a conversation that I had with Joseph Carricker, who is among other things, he's the author of an amazing superhero novel featuring a lot of queer and LGBTQ characters, which is just fantastic. It's a great inclusive work, but it's also just absolutely a fantastic story. If you haven't checked out Sacred Band yet, you really, really should. I'll drop a link in the comments here. And so I had a chance to talk with Joe at the retreat, and I'm gonna post that one up on the 17th. We also talked with Joe about his most recent novel, which just released from Nisaba Press, which is the fiction line associated with Green Ronin, which is as you probably know, a very famous role-playing game company centered out of Seattle. They do a lot of really cool things, Mutants and Masterminds. They also do the Blue Rose romantic fantasy role-playing game. And romantic fantasy is one of those genres that quite often gets misunderstood. A lot of people think it's like, oh, it's all about playing romance and my character and your character and we're going to kiss. And there can definitely be part of that, and it's definitely got more interpersonal interactions than a lot of high fantasy does. A lot of focus on the interpersonal connections and the relationships between the characters. But I think Mercedes Lackey, Tamora Pierce, that kind of thing, as opposed to, say, Harlequin romance. Not that there's anything wrong with Harlequin romances, but this is very definitely not Harlequin romances set in a fantasy setting. But it's romantic fantasy is one of my favorite genres. And Blue Rose is an amazing game. We had a chance to play a one-shot session of it at the Writers' Retreat. Joe ran it. And sorry, that was kind of a big circle. But anyway, his novel, Shadowtide, just released last week, the week before. Part of what I've been doing this week is reading my copy of it because it's absolutely amazing. I blew through it in like 2 days. It's a wonderful, wonderful story. Again, really inclusive cast. There's all kinds of amazing adventures, super cool magic. There's some great romance, a little bit of, feisty smut stuff, although, very kind of G-rated. But it's really, really a wonderful, wonderful novel, and you really owe it to yourself to check it out. And one of the projects I'm actually have been working on this week is to kick a proposal up to Green Ronin for a product related to Shadowtide. So I'm looking forward to hearing back on that and getting some details firmed up. Hopefully I'll have some more stuff to share with you. Let's see. What I worked on at the Writers' Retreat was splitting a big novel, which if you have watched the retreat videos. I this week have been working on trimming the first half of that novel down into its own book. It was just, the novel itself really was 2 stories, and there was a really wonderful splitting point between the 2 of them. So I'm breaking them down, and the first one is pretty much ready to start shopping around to agents. So I'm really excited about that. And the second one is kind of what I'm working on right now with my writing and editing section of my days. So I'm going to be working on that over the next couple of weeks. I also have been working on this vlog. I went through 3 different video editing programs. I am not a technical person at all. I'm very much an end user. So I started off with a program that was billed as a very easy beginner program, and maybe it was for people who are like getting ready to make like actual movies. It was way more complex, plus it had some technical glitches that just didn't work very well on my computer. So I tried that one, then I tried 2 other ones. Again, they were just way more complex than what I need. You don't need to see me flipping around 360 degrees in the screen, or fading in and out with ripple effects like Wayne's World or that kind of thing. It's just not necessary for what I'm doing, and I was spending way too much time getting frustrated by trying to learn the intricacies of some very non-intuitive programs, at least non-intuitive to me. So I ended up just starting off with Microsoft Photo, which is what I'm using to stitch these vlogs together. And it doesn't do a lot of the really fancy stuff, but it allows me to trim and edit footage. It allows me to put up slides like the one you saw at the start of this and the one you'll see at the end. And there's more to it that I haven't learned how to do yet, and I'm really looking forward to. Maybe later in the year I'll start tackling one of those more complex beginner video editing programs, but for now I was just getting really frustrated. I wanted to get some of this stuff out there so that I could start sharing it with you. So Microsoft Photo seems to be working very well, so that's lovely. I just finished turning in a bunch of panel requests. I am going to be the writing guest of honor at RadCon, which is a science fiction fantasy convention that's held out in Pasco, Washington. This year it is February 15th through the 17th, and I just got done talking with their guest liaison and their programming head about what panels I want to be on, which ones I want to moderate. I think they're setting me up for a Q&A session or an autograph session, which is always kind of interesting when you're mostly a role-playing game writer, because people don't really pay attention to who works on gaming projects for the most part. Some people, of course, have got enough work under their belt and enough force of personality to create their own fandoms. Monty Cook springs to mind. John Wick. There's definitely some industry all-stars, but for the most part we're kind of all working on teams on these books, and our names get printed really little on the front page that everybody just breezes past as they're going to see what new neat stuff is in there, which is great, but it makes autograph sessions a little weird. So if you're coming out to RadCon next month, bring your role-playing game books that I've worked on. You can check out my wiki page on Wikipedia, which unfortunately I can't update. That's the way Wikipedia works. So a lot of the information on there is kind of woefully out of date. It doesn't cover a lot of the most recent things that I've been working on, like the Aldous City book for Green Ronin, or Changeling 2nd edition, which just came out, Changeling the Lost for Onyx Path. So let's see. So I'm going to RadCon, and just checking my notes here to make sure I haven't forgotten anything. That's mostly been my week. It's been hectic. There's such a learning curve with learning any new skill. Like recording videos or recording or editing videos, or just, I mean, goodness, the complexity of trying to set these things up on YouTube is just way more than I would have ever imagined. But I'm really enjoying it, and it's given me a chance to chat with you guys in a really different way than I normally get to. So I'm really enjoying it. If you're enjoying it, leave a comment down below, because I would love to hear from you. Sometimes it kind of feels like I'm talking out to, well, I guess a camera, and thus I don't get a lot of feedback. So it's always lovely to hear from you. If there's a topic that you want me to talk about, I'd be happy to, do some kind of on request vlog entries later on. One of the things I am hoping to incorporate later this month is, as you can see behind me, the top boy, this is not easy to do with the camera. The top shelf on the bookshelf behind me is my vanity shelf. Most authors have a place where they've collected the things that they've worked on and gotten published, and I am no different. Most of mine are there. I've got some other things tucked away in one place or another, and some of them I actually don't even have an author's copy for, which is always lovely. But I am, I'm planning on going through my vanity shelf, just like one entry at a time, one book at a time, and talking a little bit about what was going on with that project, maybe some interesting anecdotes, what parts of the books that I worked on, the challenges that I faced with it, how I came to start working on them, when they came out, all the kind of interesting things that you don't really hear about from role-playing game authors for the most part. So that's going to be my little vanity shelf entries, and those will be coming out throughout the course of the next year. So look for them. They'll be in their own little playlist on the YouTube channel. Let's see, what else? Today I'm getting ready to go out. You guys may have checked out my first LARP adventure. It was a two-part episode that I did. It was actually the first vlogs that I really did out, or did on YouTube and got put out there. So I'm going out to Dystopia Rising, Oregon. The first two were from Dystopia Rising, Washington. I'm going out to Dystopia Rising, Oregon today. I'm going to be spending the weekend LARPing with them, and that will be super fun. I always love going out to their games. And they've been kind enough to give me permission to do a little bit more recording. I won't be able to record actually during the game, although I may be able to be kind of in the out-of-game area. I got a new gimbal, which is it's a handheld, kind of a automated Bluetooth selfie stick, but it's got like this really cool gyroscopic kind of engine in it, and it holds everything way steadier, and it moves a little bit to keep things focused. So I'm really looking forward to getting a chance to use that. You slap your camera into it and use your camera function, and then it's Bluetooth connected to the program that it uses to record things. So you can do things like pan up and down just by using a toggle switch and that sort of thing. I'm going to be really new at it this weekend, so no guarantees about how Cloverfield my final products may end up being, but I'm looking forward to going out there. I'm really hoping to catch a glimpse of some of the cool costumes and props, weapons, those kinds of things that folks are using down there, because they really put a high emphasis on that very what you see is what you get aspect of the game, and so the players really rise to the occasion for it. So I'm going to be going and doing that, and I'll break those down into some manageable bites and start releasing them. So I'm going to be trying to release things on Sundays, on Wednesdays, and on Fridays for these recaps. So there will be a lot of stuff coming out over the next month or so. Make sure that you because who doesn't like to get liked. Also subscribe to my channel. Not only does this make sure that it'll pop up on your YouTube page when you go to YouTube, but also it's really cool because subscribers are one of the ways that YouTube judges how successful a channel is. So it doesn't cost you anything. It doesn't hurt you at all, and it really, really helps me out, so I appreciate it greatly. Also, if you're interested in seeing like the Friday recaps, the vlog entries that are coming up about RadCon, the posts from Greyhaven, the ones I'm going to be doing this weekend at Dystopia Rising, Oregon. If you really want to make sure you don't miss those, there is a bell, and I think it might be up there. I don't know. Look around. It's on your page where you're looking right now somewhere. If you click that, it basically what it does is turn on your notifications, and that way you'll get a little blurb when I drop something new, and you won't miss it. So thank you very much for your time, and this has been a pretty successful weekend recap. I will talk to you guys all later. I'm gonna go pack my car. Bye.